What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. Wanted to do a super quick video with the latest commentary from the company Ripple and have some very interesting stats to show you guys. But first, I wanted to show you Spark token. Again, us XRP holders are able to claim this and get this distributed to us in the coming months. So whether you claimed it with XRP Toolkit and the Ledger Nano, or you had your XRP on a participating exchange back in December, whether it's Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Bitrue, you name it, we are going to get these tokens in the future at a 1-for-1 rate. So if you have 100,000 XRP, you will be getting 100,000 Spark tokens. If you're curious on the distribution model, of course, and the overall, rollout, I encourage you guys to go to FLR Network's website and the blog and just read that. Sometimes it does change from time to time, so I have to keep an eye on that as well. But just sharing. Yes, I'm aware that Bitrue has FLR listed right now with the Tether pairing, so you can see it versus the dollar, and it is officially past the current XRP price. Now, if you guys are an XRP holder, this is not something to be sad about. This is something to be excited about, because the higher the value of FLR, the better for the ecosystem. Remember the quote in the previous video I shared, liquidity begets liquidity. It's a famous adage in this space, and I just wanted to share that. So we've officially passed almost 27.5 cents. We did wick as high as just about 28 cents on bitrue.com. I'm aware this is an IOU. Nonetheless, it is very exciting. It's so funny. I was reading some of the comments in my previous video and replying, because usually when I upload, I'm able to reply to the first, 10 minutes or so and be active. And I did see some people saying Ripple's finally getting into DeFi, decentralized finance, and that is laughable to me to show the lack of research out there. Yes, we have a head of DeFi for the company Ripple, of course. I mean, Ripple, the XRP ledger, was one of the first consensus mechanisms to go outside of proof of work. People do not comprehend how far ahead some of these organizations are. Digital Currency Group is an early investor in the company Ripple and many other groups, guys. I just do not sleep on this. Do not think Ripple is late to the game of DeFi because we had the bubble in August and, September, and, people are finally looking into, assets like Polkadot. It's been a long time coming. Ethereum has been the king of DeFi for several years. It's not just something that came out of nowhere. The concept of decentralized finance has been a thing since cryptocurrency, for that matter. So please understand, FLR Networks is one of the first groups to do something very, very differently and allow interoperability with the XRP ledger for extremely efficient and fast settlements, Ethereum to program all the money and value with smart contracts, and then use AVAX or Avalanche Consensus to reach, obviously, consensus across the network. This has never been done before. We are, as I always say, in uncharted territory, and I am absolutely excited. So we'll keep an eye on this. It would be awesome to have, obviously, if you have 100,000 XRP, get 100,000 FLR. All of a sudden, FLR, aka Spark, is at $1 in the future. We'll see if we keep running up in anticipation for going live in 2021. I am just beyond excited, and I have to remind myself and everybody, as a viewer, guys, I'm just giving my honest commentary here, so take everything with a grain of salt, but it would be extremely, extremely exciting to see FLR, succeed much faster than usual. We understand the collateralization aspect of holding and locking assets up, which can, again, increase multiplier effects for assets. Speculation. I know I sometimes diss speculation and make fun of it and say, we have to wait for utility to see the real money. Well, I mean, speculation in 2018, in like 3 weeks brought XRP from 21 cents to nearly $4. So, hey, as I always say, expect the unexpected. There's been a lot that has happened that I never once expected. So how am I hedging myself in this market? I have plenty of fiat on the sidelines as well. I understand, the dollar, the DXY is not in the best position by any means. I have precious metals, gold, silver, big bug of that, like physical holdings, not just, IOUs, holding it in a company. And then I hold a lot of crypto assets, and I'm dollar cost averaging whenever possible, because I understand all I have to do is, properly hedge my bets. And if we can get this out of the market and get profit, I can go back into real estate. I can just really attack the market and swing between trends, and trends are our friends. Anyways, enough ranting. Nonetheless, guys, bitrue.com, you can see this. Now let's read some commentary from RippleNet. They did just put out a recent blog, but first I want to show you Ashish Burla, GM of RippleNet's commentary. So, right here, all things considered, Ripple had the company, of course, an incredible year in 2020. I wish XRP kept running in 2020. I know we did wick as high as 92 cents, which was absolutely awesome. I still believe that is just a taste of what's to come. The SEC allegations and lawsuit, are far from over. We'll see what happens next month specifically, and we will keep a very close eye on that. So Ashish Burla goes on to say, in my 7+ years at the company Ripple, I remain insanely proud of what this team has achieved, and I'm bullish on where we are going. Diving deeper specifically on RippleNet. So you'll see RippleNet or RN right here. We've processed roughly 3 million transactions on RippleNet in 2020 alone. Transactions, and that's not value. The value is much higher. ODL is rapidly growing. ODL transactions accounted for $2.4 billion in notional value. So I say 1 billion, well now we can change that to 2.4 billion in notional value. We planted the RippleNet flag in 18 new countries and signed 15 deals after the SEC complaint was made public. That is in all caps, because it is not stopping a global company that has 80 to 90% of its entire customer base outside of the US and 80 to 90% of all the volume and transaction flows outside of the US. And many G20 countries, Singapore, even Japan, the UK have already said and classified XRP is not a security. Yes, and you wonder why I'm bullish long-term in this ecosystem. I would be bearish if XRP just stopped working and wasn't solving real problems for real customers, but it is. And now, with the rise of DeFi coming, it is getting even more exciting. And yes, I hold many assets. I'm excited for a lot of the performance of many assets, QNT, Algo, HBAR, you name it. But I'm just saying, do not sleep on XRP. When it moves quickly. It is always the last. APAC, Asian Pacific region, is still our busiest region for customer demand and transaction growth. In India, we are working with 3 out of the 5 biggest banks. Again, so we have Brazil, the BRICS nation. We've talked about Russia many times. India, 3 out of the 5. And then, of course, we talked about 70% of market share, potentially at least, interoperable with China in one of my previous videos last week. So, yes, it is pretty evident, guys, that there are still some sound fundamentals and strong connections for the company Ripple. And what did they say? Back in 2018, Ashish was quoted to say, and once we get that deal in the pipeline, we already had 50% of all of India in our pipeline. Now they're saying we're working with, not even in the pipeline, 3 out of 5, guys. That is a significant portion, okay? That's over 50% currently working. And then what do they say? We'll take it to Wells Fargo and say there's no cheaper way to send money into India than through RippleNet. They're future-proofing. Eventually, there's no choice for all these big monopolies. They have to switch over to RippleNet or adopt and innovate some other technology. But remember, liquidity just doesn't come out of thin air. It's, there's different issues, there's risks, there's counterparty risk. And now, with DLT, we're flipping that model upside down, and it is going to be very, very exciting. And I do not think the storm is over yet. Also, MENA, Middle East, Northern Africa, Indian corridor is one of the biggest in the world for remittance. Funny, because they're also targeting and successfully going through the Mexican peso and US dollar corridor, which is another behemoth. So this is rapidly growing and could be our largest soon. Guys, very exciting. Of course, Southeast Asia, specifically has been exploding, and we'll go over that as well. Every customer and partner joins RippleNet with the same base service and a crypto wallet. RippleNet is designed to seamlessly upgrade and add new services when ready. Just a simple software update, guys, no hardware. Welcome to the future. This is versatility. They can adapt to the ongoing regulatory landscape, the ongoing, payments landscape between MSBs, payment service providers, FIs, banks, whatever you are. We are evolving from strictly payments into a platform with tokenized services. Saw this, a long time coming, guys, per even R3 with articles years ago that we went over talking about asset fractionalization and tokenization of assets. And then I'll probably share in a future video going over real estate specifically with tokenized assets. It's here. Arguably it's already in live production, but it's going to start coming over, the next few years. There's going to be some massive, massive opportunity for all of us. Right here, we purposely built RippleNet to get financial institutions comfortable with using a blockchain-based network for fiat transactions, and then when they're ready, flip the switch for on-demand liquidity, aka that's all XRP, guys, 100% XRP usage. Line of credit, I've talked your ear off about that for the past few months. So exciting, 100% XRP utility right there as well. They can buy XRP on credit. Just imagine with a credit card. use it, small SMEs can scale, etc. And soon to come, new products. Now, just a little prediction from me, guys, if you want to hear. I think in 2021, if Flare Networks is very successful, you know what, we'll be conservative and just say in the future in general. I believe if Flare Networks is successful, RippleNet will have some massive integration with them, and something to do with smart contracts will come into play with the XRP ledger. Right? I'm very excited about FXRP, but do not be fooled. We know what's really going to happen. So as RippleNet evolves, so do the types of transactions we process. Interesting. We started with remittances because they have the highest friction. Absolutely. These still make up a majority of RippleNet transactions, but we're continuing to expand further into business-to-business and e-commerce payments in 2021. What do I say? I've shared many times the actual figures for e-commerce on this channel, guys. The CAGR, the annual growth year over year, is going bigger. Trends are our friends. Just like we see voice and machine learning and AI and virtual reality, cybersecurity. Same concept with payments and distributed ledger technology. It has so many benefits. It's much more than just fancy internet money, as we know, for redundancy, transparency, trust, breaking down the models today that are slow and essentially very expensive and not needed anymore. All right? So it's not going to be replaced 100%, but even just getting 50% of that friction is going to change the absolute world and change everything how we know. The world is becoming more digital. Shocker. Consumers expect convenience, low cost, secure, and scalable services from their financial providers. Whether traditional FIs or nimble fintechs like Ripple, our customers are delivering the next gen of financial solutions through RippleNet. They're enabling FIs to deliver solutions that were previously offered only by multinational banks without the cost and overhead of legacy systems. If you want to build the future of financial services, come join us. And yes, I do believe there's a high probability of them finally IPOing in the future. Of course, they have to get through this SEC nonsense. It could get very messy. Do not be fooled even by my bullishness in this market. I'm a long-term believer in this entire asset class. They've been expanding. If you guys watch the job postings, which I check almost on a daily basis, variety of countries, variety of their offices, they're constantly expanding. All right, now, show you a few things. So right here, Anders L, follow him at X_Anderson, XRP plus CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Pretty fitting because obviously Davos today, the World Economic Forum, is going to be talking about digital currencies once again. Yawn, I know we keep up with it. It's kind of just a catch up for anybody that is not familiar with central bank digital currencies, acting like they're, just looking into it. If you guys read the documents, it's been going, 5+ years at least. This is just a massive plan and a rollout, in my opinion. So to continue driving fresh innovation in crypto and interoperability in payments, we're focused on tackling central bank digital currencies as the future of fiat. Whether fiat or CBDCs, XRP is the bridge. It does not matter. That's a common FUD point. I don't know why people even think that, but so be it. They don't do their own research. Key to this will be our ongoing work with central banks in developing protocols that support the direct exchange of CBDCs on the XRP ledger, using XRP as a bridge currency. Yes, I know this is coming from Ripple. They have a vested interest. So do we as XRP holders. But remember, the Central Bank of France also named the XRP ledger and Ethereum blockchain as two open, permissionless networks that could interoperate and even have CBDCs issued on top of them. So it's not just me being crazy. It is literally central banks, central governments of the world. Now, just to speed through this article, guys, this just came out, 5-minute read, January 25th, and I just want to read a few points and some actual numbers, so please stick around. Right here, we experienced increased customer growth and traction in key markets and saw an incredible innovation from developers in the XRP community. While there is still regulatory uncertainty in the US, we have been grateful for the support, both publicly and direct conversations from a broad cross-section of our global community, including customers, partners, shareholders, industry players, and global regulators. And remember, I just pointed out, there's so many global regulators that already have friendly classification for the company Ripple as well as the digital asset that we love, XRP. We ended this year strong, and with the new administration and the SEC leadership expected to be confirmed in the coming months, I feel well prepared and confident that we have the right team here at Ripple and ingredients in place to make 2021 even more successful than last year. We are edging ever closer to that do or die moment, in my opinion. I know it's been a couple years, us speculating, seeing these connections. I think we've seen all we need to see eventually. Now we need to see some absolute action, and I agree. So I think this is going to be a year of potentially some massive volatility, and no surprise, that's kind of a dumb statement for me to make. Bitcoin's, bouncing between 30 and 40K, so we can't expect the unexpected, absolutely. So just pointing that out. Right here, RippleNet had a banner year. In 2020, we increased nearly 3 million transactions, 5 times volume growth compared to 2019. These are the metrics I'm looking at. And I'm also looking at XRP. I'm watching utility scan, of course, but this is one of those key indicators for ODL success. And I'm so excited to hopefully see an Indian corridor go live. All right. We experienced 12 times year-over-year growth in transactions, notional value up to the $2.4 billion. This is something, other projects don't have. They're merely in the building phase or the speculation phase. Ripple, is doing it all. They've been doing this for quite some time. And in order to build a skyscraper, you need to build a strong, concrete foundation. So customer interest globally remains very strong. And of course, this lawsuit, there is no such thing as bad publicity, and yes, this is getting a lot of attention and eyes from all over the place. It does annoy me when I see some other crypto maxi, and I love crypto assets. I don't care if it's Ethereum, an ERC20 token, something agnostic, Bitcoin, whatever. It just blows my mind to see how little they actually know about the XRP ecosystem, and they just read what they saw on the latest posted FUD article by CoinDesk. It's just a joke to me. All the world is a stage. Nonetheless, signing customer deals at a rate of 2 per week across more than 40 countries, 18 of which are new to RippleNet. Despite the SEC lawsuit filed against them on December 22nd, we signed 15 new customers to close out the year, with more customers than ever before. Interesting. So I know we talk about hundreds of customers. We talk about their users with, Temenos, 3,000 customers. That's one of literally big customers, some of the biggest banks. Finastra, 9,000 customers. We talk about Finabler with, at least several hundred. We can talk about some of the tech providers that are already integrated with the top 50 banks of the world. So yeah, it becomes a lot more than a few hundred. In my mind, it's 10,000 plus users and customers, whether it is money service businesses or actual banks. So that is what I see when I see a Ripple, whereas someone else is just distracted by a low XRP price. All right. And I'm looking at the proof of concepts. I don't think they're for fun. I don't think it was just merely future proofing. I think it's looking to solve real problems with a damn good technology like XRP. All right. Right here, so talked about increasing demand, 1,700% growth in transactions. The number of deals signed in 2020 were up 80% year over year. Now right here, increasing demand for digital financial services and payments interoperability in Asia Pacific region. Adoption of RippleNet, SMEs, fintechs, PSPs, etc. So one of their busiest years. Nonetheless, this is what I'm looking at. I know we went over this in detail earlier. The mobile money and mutual trust bank, going over the partnership with Bcash, letter of credit. I'm already excited about that. I've explained why. We've speculated even in Brazil as well, but just from a utility-based purpose or perspective and what we know today, I think LOC will be an absolutely successful part of RippleNet. All right. Maybe not in the US right now, but we're talking about the users that actually have regulatory clarity for XRP. That's what I'm looking at. Right here, today, RippleX, the other branch, remember, not even a part of Ripple whatsoever. They're just building SDKs and developments on the XRP ledger. And you guys say, there's no one else building on the XRPL. That's laughable. I did see Crypto Eddie just go over as well, just to remind you guys, even Forte with a $100 million, that's right, $100 million grant for gaming, building, interoperability on the XRP ledger, not on Bitcoin, on the XRP ledger. So that is what I'm looking at, guys. Even Interledger Protocol. So we have 12 million users through XRPL, Interledger Protocol, partners with more than 40 countries championing, that's a tongue twister, XRP utility, Coil, Forte, as I just said, BRD or Bread, BitPay, and Flare. And Flare is something, I know we're going to keep talking about it, we're going to keep speculating, but it is getting closer and closer to some legitimate production. And of course, it's interesting. As you guys know, I'm not the biggest Litecoin advocate, but it is cool to see that their community is engaged with this as well. All right. We'll continue engaging with the 100+ projects currently using the XRP ledger. So it's much more than just Ripple. You can go to, PayString, formerly PayID, with 100 million users right there. breaking down the borders, interoperability is key. Liquidity begets liquidity. Break the dams and allow on-ramps or, rivers to each ecosystem. And where do you think the money will flow? Think about it. All right, and then last but not least, guys, right here, we added top talent to our leadership team with strong backgrounds from Apple, PayPal, Amazon, Tesla, Twitter. So we see SVP of Engineering, Peter, we've already talked about Devraj in the past, talked about Peter Webb, VP of this platform and technical operations, got Gap Kim, Stan Wilson, Marielle Kelly, Vidya Mani, Mark Johnson, etc. And then most importantly, we welcomed right before the lawsuit. So did they know something? Did the company Ripple know something? That's me speculating. Please take that with a grain of salt. That's perfect timing, though, that they did add Sandy O'Connor, the former Chief Regulatory Affairs Officer for JP Morgan Chase. You may have heard of them, aka JPM, HSBC, and Citi, essentially oversee 80% of all cross-border transactions in the world. So she is kind of a genius in terms of the policy-making aspect and regulatory affairs. So you really wonder what's happening. Is this all a show? Is this actually legitimate? And this should be a real concern for XRP holders. I think a huge combination of both. It is absolutely a real concern. Do not be fooled by that. But I still believe all the world is a stage. And I think there's a lot of things going on that we have no idea about. I think there's a lot of eerie timing. Some of it could be coincidental, and it could be me over speculating to a certain degree. But it's just very weird timing for Jay Clayton to do this right before a new administration comes. If it's his way to essentially, set fire to it so it gets going now, could we be thanking him after all is said and done if we get favorable regulatory clarity for XRP? Anything is possible, guys. Explore both sides, entertain that thought, but just wanted to share with that. And let me see if there's anything else. Last but not least, while the company and the crypto industry has faced some turbulent times, one thing remains constant. Ripple is fully dedicated to our vision, the Internet of Value, serving our customers and partners and pushing for regulatory clarity that the industry needs. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, guys. I did retweet all of this for Ashish Burla. Brad Garlinghouse kind of put out a thread as well. I encourage you guys to look at that, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.